Support for the Confederacy of Dunks is brought to you by
Manscaped,
who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Manscaped
Offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels.
Big news.
Manscaped launched in Canada. For those listeners in Canada, you can be one of the first Canadians to experience their life-changing products. Matty D, one time I tried to put Nair on my hair down there. Let's just say third degree burn.
Freddie, one time used my mom's electric fabric shaver that picks up all the lint, got stuck on my nuts, had to call my mom for help.
Shut the monkey. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer and have their new and improved Lawnmower 3.0.
Their third-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. The battery is pretty damn good, too, lasting up to 90 minutes. No rushing, Fred.
Wow. Plus, the waterproof technology allows you to groom in the shower.
Ooh. And you know what I really like?
The LED light.
It illuminates when you're grooming so that you can get a precise trim, and I also have the option of shaving in the woods during a full moon.
They've also upgraded to a 7,000 RPM motor with quiet stroke technology.
And let's not forget about the charging stand. Show your mower off loud and proud because this intelligently designed stand is a conveniently charging dock powered by
USB.
If you are listening to me speak right now, I want you to experience it firsthand for yourself. Trim that junk of yours.
Now get 20% off and free shipping with the code DunksPod
Dunkspod.
at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code DunksPod.
Dunkspod.
It's time to shave those balls, eh?
Your balls will thank you.
Hello. Anyone around here speak basketball? There it is.
It's the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball Podcast.
Kyle Lowry. Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks Basketball
Podcast.
I am your host, Freddie Rivas, who just kind of messed up the echo thing that me and Matt do. Matt, you're the producer. Say hello.
Hello, I'm Matt. I'm the producer, and we got a fun one for you today.
We do, even if it started like a little bit of a shaky takeoff. I fly like a duck, folks.
We are
I need a
recording on
long
the
runway.
American election day, so we're a little jittery. We got a little bit of the Kramer in our blood right now.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I got a little bit of the Kramer in my blood at all times.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
including like when I sleep, that leg's kicking.
Yeah.
But Matt, if people they want to help us out, they want to wear the sick toque I have,
Mhm.
all the good stuff. Like what's something you want to impart onto our guests? How can they help us?
You know what? As I've always said, go to dunkspodcast.com because we have got all the links and frills there. If you want to go and see our social media, if you want our podcatchers, that's where you got to go. If you want a toque, it's a great way to contact us and get one of those toques. We've got plenty left. And as well, we've got our Patreon. If you want to link to that, if you want to, get some of that hot sauce, if you want to get a shout out on the show, if you want to get the episodes the same day we record.
We got it all, baby.
We got it all. And of course, we're on the Sonar Network. So always go to the sonarnetwork.com and you can check out the podcast there. They keep adding a whole bunch. Okay. We're getting lost in the fray here. So there's lots to choose from in a good way.
Yep.
So,
my good friends, or our good friends, Peter Carlone and Chris Wilson. Peter and Chris.
Peter and
two
Chris.
hilarious guys, great sketch comedians. They're doing a podcast. If I'm not mistaken, they're going to try and do every type of podcast.
Oh, are they? Is that what
no
it is?
spoilers, but I may or may not be doing a
Wow.
really silly mocked up hot ones.
I
with
heard a
them.
rumor that they might even be sponsored by Subway sandwiches. I don't know.
Wow. See, that's
Pretty
big
huge.
time.
Yeah, that's big time.
That's Subway. Hey, that's a big time for me for some reason. But you know what? But before we jump into things, I'm just going to remind everyone: email your city councilors, defund the police, never stop putting the pressure in the right place. And Matt, let's get rocking here. Let's start this pod. If you feel like we're ready to go, please, sir, just give me the okay.
Okay.
Okay. Big day, I think, in the entire world with the election going down. But
Totally.
we're here to talk some basketball. We're here to talk some goddamn basketball. So when you're listening to this podcast, I hope you got the results you wanted if you're rooting for Joe Biden. But okay,
Yeah.
cool. Let's come on. Let's bring on these amazing guests. They're both freaking hilarious. I'm going to start with my buddy who is rocking his championship Raptors hat with pride. He's looking a lot better than me. He just got married. He's living the good life. He's showing off his ring. He's hilarious. Give it up. If you know him, you love him. Yaw Attuah. Oh, baby, we're feeling it.
I love that track. I won't lie. It always makes me feel like summer. So,
We went hard on that track, and it felt great.
I feel great about it. I relish. I love it every time I come on here. I know it's coming, and it's like one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Yeah,
whole
the last time I put it on, when I put this episode on YouTube, it got flagged for copyright. So
What,
I had
that song?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? That's a nice transition, because there's no way this next guest song is copyrighted, because
Well, it's got a Creative Commons. I've got the Creative Commons.
Okay, but
thing
this
on it.
next next guest is a rude dude. He's a beast in the post.
Mhm.
He's amazing. I love him. He's hilarious. You know this song and you love this song. Give it up for Ian Gordon.
Hi guys.
Hey baby, are you? What? Why did I say hey baby? I
I'll take it. I'll take it. I
Wait.
like that.
Ian, let me just quickly explain why I said hey baby.
Okay.
I was gonna make a joke about you drinking like an Irish Guinness, but then all I could think of was that stupid song like hey baby. It's like a drinking song. I don't know.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I know that one. I want you to know. Oh,
Yeah, it's a
baby,
song. I
my
think.
girl. Do. Anyway.
Similar to your entrance song, it's a good torture, good choice of a torture song.
Yeah. Well, that we got around to the point, didn't we?
We did. We really did. Let's talk to some Raptors. Let's talk through some actual Raptors, guys. No. Let's talk some Raptors ball. Maddie, I don't know if it's a new sting. I don't know if it's an old sting, but I'm sure it's a delicious one. Please give me your finest Raptors sting.
RTZ.
Meow. Oh shit.
Ready, before I just want to say one thing I forgot to tell you. I was on the phone with my mom. She actually sent me a text. She goes, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. I was driving on the highway and I was beside Drake."
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
big news.
She said that he would be great on the podcast and we should get him.
Awesome. Well, you can tell her next time she drives by Drake, she's got to lock it down. Like she's got to follow him to where he's going. Ask him about the
enough.
pod.
I mean, I do know his insurance guy. Drake's insurance guy has been my dad's insurance guy forever.
Great. Okay, so that's two
Yeah.
ins with Drake so
Yeah.
far. Anyone
Tell your
listening to
mom
Sorry, go
give
ahead.
him the pit maneuver and run him off the road, and then you can be like, hey, now that I've got your attention.
Oh, good. Yeah, like a Mad Max thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
with the kidnap
once-
him.
It's not
Yeah.
rude. Once he knows why you gave him the pit maneuver and ran him off the road, he'll be like, oh, you won't even
Fair.
care.
Be respectful.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. That's a pretty good.
Sorry to distract you, but your little Raptors story to start it off.
No. All I can think about is different types of Raptors and like what Mad Max vehicles they would have. But okay, you know what? Nobody needs me also being distracted. And we're gonna start a little bit serious here because there's some bad news. We're not going to go into all of the Terence Davis charges. It's pretty horrifying news for Raptors fans, for women, for the NBA. Obviously, there will be a ton more information to come. The Raptors have sent out a press thing saying they're going to comply fully with the NBA's their like abuse kind of protocol. But I think a lot of the conversation is around should we keep Terrence Ross? Or should he belong? Does he belong in the NBA anymore? Or I'm also hearing this kind of like in the same breath as the charges. Oh, and FYI, he averaged 7.5 points. And I think it's all kind of hitting me the wrong way. Like, I guess, I don't know, with especially having you two guys here, I'm more interested in like, how do you think the Raptors and the NBA and, us as male fans can, I don't know, advocate more to show support for victims and, help create a safer world and also like, from a fan perspective, like a more welcoming audience base, because that's a bit muddled, but yeah, let me start with you. Like, as a man, how do we kind of like work towards changing the conversation around this?
I think a lot of this really centers on like how the conversation's had. So a few times you hear, oh, but he's been so good for us this year.
Yes.
Which is like, it's so like not where the conversation is. The conversation is that what happened to her, that poor woman, like everything should center around like her care and her well-being. Like,
that's right. Yeah.
How good he has been and his play in the league is like not even a question and not even something I want to entertain. And I think that's kind of like where the conversation lies, because everybody is like, yeah, I know the Raptors organization is a basketball organization and worried about their employee and like their employee's conduct. But if this changes, so it's more like, hey, the Raptors organization is really concerned about her and her well-being, and we're like reaching out and like talking to her, then I feel like that might change like the perspective. The perspective is more of the empathetic caring position, not with their employee, but with the victim. With her, then I think the conversation will change. And I know it doesn't seem like big. It's not like suspend or fire or whatever the policy is, but like I think a lot of these situations lack the empathy and heart that they need.
Man, yeah, so well said. And I think that, accountability and transparency is kind of like what you're going towards. And like what happens is, the news breaks and then immediately the nothing centered around the story of the victim. Ian, kind of a heavy first question to hit you with, but Yeah, how do you feel like when a story like that breaks and so much of the conversation is around, oh yeah, he had a good rookie year?
It's a shame. It's indicative of culture on a broader scale amongst men, and how we need to do better. I think that I mean, look at all the examples and how many there are and how it doesn't stop. And
Totally.
I think to here's something. How many of us are staunch in terms of how we feel about this, and how domestic abuse and violence towards women is disgusting and it's rampant and it needs to stop. And yet I own Kareem Hunt in fantasy, and I root for him because I want to win my fantasy. And he's playing in the NFL, and he's striving or succeeding in the NFL. And he's not to highlight him, but it's for me. How do I wrestle with this? Somebody whose mind is already made up on how I feel and how I think it's awful, and I think that it needs to change. And my mind has never needed to change in that sense. But here I am, openly supporting somebody who is guilty of these crimes. So honestly, am I a hypocrite? Like, actually, do men have to sit down and say, if we support these individuals after being guilty of said crimes, are we hypocrites? Are we responsible for this continuing? And when something like what individual X does 2 years ago, if it happens again in a different scenario, and we collectively did nothing to promote our outrage about it, are we complicit? Are we responsible in some way? Because all of this stuff, it all derives to change it. I would say it would probably derive from policy, and whether that's an NBA policy or a political policy, it's those policies that need to be put in place. And how do they get put in place? They get put in place when the fans pressure the organizations and the players to do so. And if we sit around and we're complacent, then we're honestly kind of guilty, really.
Yeah, man, like 100%. Like, and I think
straight up. And we also have this attitude like,
fan, I feel
it
that
doesn't happen. Yeah, yeah, and oh well. There's this sense of detachment. I didn't see it happen. It doesn't happen to me. We look at these. It also highlights how we look at these athletes as entities, as like pieces, and not as human beings. Whether it's something awful happens to them, or they do something awful, or anything, these people are humans, and we don't. It's weird. We really don't see them that way. There's this having it. It's not tangible. I don't know. It's weird. I'm not. I just got home from work, so I can't.
Dude, no, I think you're articulating it. You're articulating it quite well, actually. Both you guys. Yeah. Thank you.
I just think it's, it starts with one person and with one individual. Do I have to drop Kareem Hunt? Do I do that? Am I willing to do that? Does that make a difference? How does that make a difference? Do I talk to my friends about this? It's a multifaceted answer, and we're not even close to finding a solution for it, even though it's right in front of our faces.
Yeah. Sadly agree. Not to be insensitive, but I'm going to make a topic change here. I think you guys hit that really well. And obviously it's a story that's going to evolve, but this is a big gear switch, because this is a silly ass question. Ian, I'm going to stick with you. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think this New Jersey Raptors thing is maybe happening. So tell me something about the New Jersey Raptors.
The New Jersey Raptors, right away, I think that they're going to get into racketeering and mafia. Like, I feel like Nick Nurse will just transition directly into becoming head of the mafia along New Jersey. I also think that they're probably going to get into a lot of scams. There'll be a scam-based team. There might be a lot of trickery, involved in the plays, like ball fakes. Ball fakes will go up. I don't know if they play in New Jersey. Like what kind of world are we living in, man? You know what I mean? Like what the fuck's going on here? It's so stupid. Fuck off, New Jersey. Fuck you.
Oh my God, you guys are honestly killing it. Yao, can you please tell me something about the New Jersey Raptors? I think Ian started us off. Yeah, lots of tricks, lots of ball fakes. You know, Nurse is for sure working the boardwalk. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Well, tell me something else about the New Jersey Raptors.
I don't like it. I straight up, I share Ian's thoughts and critiques about the racketeering that will happen, the takeover of the old casinos. I don't know. When I first heard that they made like Kentucky was a location and Louisville and like Kansas City was like something that Patrick Mahomes wanted. All those things made me feel right. There's something right about those because they don't have an NBA team, and you kind of create this like remote fan base. So
Yeah.
they're there. New Jersey still has New York. Like a team moved out of Jersey for a reason. Like you don't want to be in Jersey. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
I would rather them play in Buffalo. Like,
Hey, I said that last week on the pod. You know, I used to make fun of Buffalo a lot, and then I came to a place where I feel a bit sorry for Buffalo. And you know what? The fact that we've taken the Bills makes me feel a little bit guilty. So I guess there's a part of that there, and it seems like it worked out okay for the Jays.
for someone who grew up across the river from Buffalo and frequently got his hair cut in Buffalo and pizza and shoes for school in Buffalo, I will defend Buffalo.
Wow.
Buffalo
I'm
is,
picturing young Yao walking around Buffalo just getting every little thing he needs, you know?
yeah, getting a haircut, getting some wings from Anchor Bar, going to Lenova's and coming back. Like, it's just, Buffalo's great. So I'd rather them play in Buffalo. Though, I don't think Buffalo has an NBA-ready facility, and I don't think it has the right fan support, and it's just so close to us, without us having the chance to go oversee them, and it feels like a tease. So I feel like it really should go to, like, a city that doesn't have a team, that's nowhere close to a team, that we create this little bubble fan base where kids in like Louisville, Kentucky, or Kansas City, Missouri, or St. Louis have like this like fan base of Raptors, and they support the team regardless. They know they're in Canada. They suddenly know where Toronto is on a map and stuff. That's what I think is ideal. Somewhere that has not had an NBA city for decades, or hasn't had it for a long time, and like that.
That's
like,
a great point, too.
No chance of losing it. Like, I don't think the Raptors are not going to end up in New Jersey. I mean, our ownership is loaded, but like New Jersey is just so. Like, you had your chance, basically.
I'm still with Matt from last week. He had the perfect answer to this. Where do you put the Raptors? You put them in that weird place in the States where there's actually you put the arena in 4 different states. So basically every corner 3 is a different state.
Yeah,
you know,
4 corners.
Once the season's over, they're all panicking. They don't know how to retain the team. We comfortably bring it back to Toronto. But yeah, I want to talk actually, you know, this is kind of fun. I want to talk Giannis a little bit seriously, like a little bit not fully a joke.
Serious about Giannis on the podcast? Because I'm pretty sure.
But I mean, like, Giannis as a Raptor.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it's been a rumor for a long time. But I think the rumor is getting a bit more serious because we're turning into a team that is obviously chasing Giannis. Mm-hmm. And I think for a lot of fans, that means trying to position themselves trying to position the Raptors in a place where Giannis will want to come. And I was listening to the Dunked On podcast last night or 2 nights ago, and they did a nice off-season breakdown of the Raptors. And they kind of hit a point that I've been saying this whole summer, which is, you want to re-sign Fred to attract a guy like Giannis. You want to say, this is a guy who can handle the ball all the time, anytime you're tired. Also, he can shoot the lights out. And they were kind of saying that, perhaps he's even a little bit of a better fit than a guy like Pascal. But anyways, that kind of got my brain rolling to these recent failures Milwaukee's had. You know, they lost to us. You know, obviously that was amazing. But then they lost, you know, pretty embarrassingly to the Heat. You know, Bledsoe had COVID, and there's a lot of stuff that went down. It was a weird year. But yeah, give me your version of Toronto or of Giannis in Toronto that is like a contender. You know, and maybe it doesn't include re-signing Fred. I just think about like what does he need on the court to win it all?
Well, in my version, we re-signed Fred. It's part loyalty, part like work ethic. He fits in. He's a culture fit. I think on top of that, with Pascal being here, I think the big sell is actually Nick Nurse, someone who has coached them in an all-star game, who knows how to like ride or die with his guys. He knows that he will play him more than 30 minutes if he's needed. He'll ramp him up for the playoffs. He's thinking ahead.
Yeah, I guess playing him more minutes might help.
No, but it's also trusting. Like you know that Giannis comes from the European system where they don't question the coach, and so coach says this, he doesn't do it. He may be mad and stew and want to at the end of the day. So he just needs a coach that fits more his philosophy. And I think Nick Nurse fits more that philosophy. He doesn't have to handle the ball. They have multiple handlers. They share it. He can still get his while like not feeling like he's getting worn out. He can still play 30 minutes-ish a game during the regular season. He just knows that during the playoffs that they'll step up. Plus, they have a winning culture and pedigree. Like you can't really go to Miami. It's not the same fit. I think the two other teams in line, quote unquote, for his services are Miami and Dallas, and like those fits are still weird. Like Miami just feels like a collection of like good players.
The Dallas one's a bit new, and I hope that's Adam Silver's first veto.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, they're gonna pair up Doncic and Giannis, I hope he's just like, guess what? I'm gonna veto this. No, because I think that might be a too good of a fit.
I feel like it's a really good fit, but I also don't feel like it's the great, like it feels like disconnected. I mean, like Kristaps and Doncic for some reason feel like they're buddies, and Giannis feels like he'd get along with him, but also would go home and do his own thing, and it feels kind of disconnected. There's something not as right about that fit.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think it's part of this problem with Giannis and the ball. Like, you know, because like if you know, I think we're seeing it a bit with Simmons, and it's just it's a problem in the playoffs when, you know, your central point of contact, the person who has the ball, has this specific limitation, even though he's so good. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I just think both of them are too ball dominant in a way that doesn't complement each other, where in the Raptors, he could still play his game, and Fred can play off the ball. He's already proven it this year, like starting as the two. He could play off the ball in a way that's complementary. Yeah. Still handle the ball during the final stretches when we need him to handle the ball and shoot. And I just think the Raptors are a great fit. The only reason why they don't hear about the U.S. media is because it's the U.S. media. They don't want them up in Canada.
Hell yeah. Okay, Ian. What about you? Yeah, I'm totally with you. Yeah, it's like Nick Nurse is a massive part of it. He's going to use him differently, and yeah, I think, you know, having a guy like Fred, Kyle, obviously age-wise doesn't really match up, but that kind of like steady hand, and you know, I'm wary to say Fred's as good as Kyle as well. But yeah, Ian, like what do you think Giannis needs, you know, in Toronto? Like, is there other free agents who are like, oh well, we need a couple Corvers?
No. If he, like, dude, imagine if you insert him into our lineup, Giannis, we're gonna win. Like, you know what I mean?
I guess that's a good point. Yeah, we don't need anything.
To Yaw's point, it's the coach. It's Nick Nurse for sure. If you ask yourself, why didn't the Bucks win? Right? Why they had the best record? They had an excellent roster. It was very deep. They had shooting for Giannis. Why didn't they win? Well, you got to think that it's going to come down to coaching, right? At the end of the day, the opposing teams keyed in on how to handle Giannis, and the coach didn't have an answer. And it's on the coach too. He's got to see that coming. He's got to be a chess piece ahead, and he's got to know that maybe they're going to try to shut him down in that way. If that happens, how do I utilize him? What lineups do I go to, etc. And a good sort of example in the West is Houston with Harden. I think they're similar players in that sense. Like, they can get huge numbers. They can rebound the ball. They can pass the ball. They totally dominate the game, right? There's only a few players in the NBA that do it, like Braun. But Harden's one of these guys. Giannis one of these guys. None of them have won, right? And they've both, again, had pretty deep teams and, excellent records. But they fall short as the coaching. They don't have a secondary plan. They don't have a backup plan. It worked in the regular season. We shot a ton of threes. It worked in the regular season. Giannis went to the cup all day long. Well, I mean, it doesn't work necessarily in the playoffs. And if you gave Nick Nurse the friggin' gift of Giannis on that team, it'd be over, right? It really would be. And because we'd be patient with him. We wouldn't force him. We would let him do what he wanted to do, and we would have the craziest, most fluid lineup. Like, you'd see like 10 guys coming in and out of the game all the time just to fuck with defenses. It would be a nice pipe dream for sure.
Guys,
but, yeah.
No, I'm so happy I brought up this pipe dream question, because just hearing you talk, like both of you talk about, like, what do we need? Nick Nurse, man. We basically, like, we have, like, it would be like we got a Ferrari again, like when we got Kawhi.
They also actually don't have a guy like Lowry, the Bucks. Lowry's somebody who it's his team, right? And Giannis maybe doesn't want to have the team yet right away. He doesn't want to have that bulldog mentality right away, just because he's still a young man, right? He's only, what, is he 26 or something?
Yeah, it's
27, 25. Yeah, right? So he can be an alpha, but maybe he needs the A1 alpha. This is my team in Lowry to come in and headbutt somebody if you need somebody to get headbutted. You know what I mean?
I love it. We got Surge too for that.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, if you put him on the Raps, like, it'd be over. Like, really.
Hell yeah. Well, let's talk some NBA. What do you think, boys?
Love to.
Okay. I don't know what I was expecting from what do you think, boys?
Actually, you know what?
It was you. Give me the
this guy's crazy.
Freddie, I thought we were going to talk about 19th century opera. From my understanding, that the second segment was about 19th century opera.
Listen, I pulled an audible. It's a stressful day, so we got to keep it to basketball.
Fine.
We'll talk opera later. Okay. Wagner's The Ring. Let's go. Maddie, I don't know if you got a Wagner's The Ring sting. You probably don't, but you probably got something delicious for me. So whatever you got, please, sir, give it to me.
This is Adam Silver.
Oh, shit. Just me, or did that Adam Silver honk come in extra loud? Matt, was there more bass on the honks?
I did not add any bass to the Adam Silver honk.
Wow. It sounded angry. It sounded like a tugboat that's like, listen, we're not properly, like, lined up to park the boat, and I'm going to honk aggressively.
You know what? It makes sense that he would be honking aggressively, because he's apparently a little worried that the season's not going to start in December.
I know. Yeah, that's we'll see where the rubber meets the road there. December 22nd was the initial date. Seems like
they could lose $1 billion or something if they don't start in December.
Yeah, and well, I mean, I think that's all. I mean, I'm no economist, but I'll say that's an interesting, figure to throw out. Just because it's money lost based on the assumption they don't play a certain amount of games. So if they were to not play in December, it doesn't necessarily mean they couldn't play later into the summer. So I think when you hear like the money loss stuff, my guard's always a little bit up, right? Because that's the TV people being like
TV revenue, because December is a little bit more of a prime month for them to like jump on said TV revenue as opposed to January, because the beginning of January is a little down, so they lose that Christmas season. But again, also not an economist.
Exactly.
Because I mean, you did, which is I thought, well, you're going to pay 50 games. Who cares if the 50 games start a month later? But I also know that TV prices are a little bit more expensive in December as opposed to January.
Yeah, and I think, what we're seeing now too is also like a little bit of a public battle, right? Which is like, it's the big money saying we want the players by X day, or blank horrible scenario. And I think that what that does is to the the NBA regular audience, it puts us in a place where it's like, well, why won't the players cooperate without actually knowing their side or perspective?
Yeah. Well, they're not in a power position anyway with revenue loss and the fund that I don't know if you guys know about the fund, the escrow fund that they put money into, but has to increase this year. So Steph Curry, who makes 47 million, actually will only take home 25. And if you take home, it's like 10% of your wages or something. It's an absurd number.
Yeah.
If you're getting paid over $1 million, but then by the time you get home, you're only going to actually take home 600,000. It's a big difference. So
I hear that, and I've been there. Okay, let's. I just want to. I'm going to throw this right out there. Let me go Yaw first. I think there's a lot of excitement in our division right now. It's like everyone but poor New York Knickerbockers are relevant. But
bring on your bad contracts.
What's that?
The Knicks, bring on your bad contracts.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually they're doing their own thing right now. But yeah, I want to know, who do you think's more exciting, Philly or Brooklyn? Like, we know Philly's got Morey and Doc now, and there could be fireworks. I got their contracts up on Basketball Reference here, and then obviously Brooklyn. KD's slated to come back, which is like, this is what they've been waiting for, right? So, Amari Stoudemire's there. D'Antoni's there as an assistant, which is kind of weird. Hit me with it. But pick a team and tell me why they're more exciting.
The word I won't use the word exciting. I'll use the word interesting. I think Brooklyn is a more interesting team going into this season. I don't think any of them are really exciting. Like, I don't expect much from either, because I don't have that much faith in Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is a wonderful leader. I think he's great when he's a dog, like when he has a bunch of like hard-working players, he can bring them up to a different level. But I think with all-stars, he brings them down to the median. So I don't expect Philadelphia to really get their problem solved. I think Brooklyn is going to be interesting because like they just have a lot of egos to manage. Unlike I hate when people say that in general, like these guys have to be managed. But truthfully, when you go on a podcast and start talking all sorts of nonsense about like who coaches the team and who's not getting respect and who do you trust taking the last shot, like they're just creating a circle around themselves of like drama and intrigue that like people are going to watch it. Does it blow up, or does it like, do they actually back up their like talk? Spoiler alert, it blows up because none of them were going to stay healthy throughout a whole season and playoff run. It's just going to be ridiculous. Plus you have like the bench who's brought themselves to the playoffs and worked hard together, having to like literally be told to take a step back instead of the all-star players earning a spot. It's just going to be interesting to watch, because I feel like at one point, like, you're going to have like a bad game. They're going to have a winning record. Don't expect them to miss the playoffs. That's not going to happen. But they're going to have a bad game against like the Bucks or the Heat or the Raptors where they lose. And then Kevin Durant's going to say something to piss off Joe Harris and Karis LeVert at the same time. And Spencer Dinwiddie's going to be like, well, I played well when Kyrie missed these like last 4 games because he's gonna miss some time because that guy's fragile as shit. Anyway, interesting. Brooklyn.
I think I need like one of those, like I need you to do like a Michael like Rappaport parody video where it's like just you going off on all of the potential problems in Brooklyn in your car or something, because I feel like that's an interesting scenario. Like you just reminded me of all the all the weird stuff they had going with Atkinson, where it's like, oh, this team's good, they can shoot the three. Joe Harris, Allen, like this is a feel good scenario. And yeah, it's just like it's an insane amount of ego.
I can't wait till like Allen is benched because they want DeAndre Jordan in, but Allen's numbers are better and his his metrics are all better, but for some reason he's benched and then he's asking for like a trade, but not really. Yeah. He's just like side tweeting or subvert tweeting on or saying something on Instagram going, well, when you've earned your spot, but the old guys need to play or something along those lines.
Oh, there's going to be about 1,000 burner Twitter accounts associated with the Brooklyn Nets this year. Ian, who's your more like, I used exciting, but I think I actually was framed it a bit better because I don't know how good I think likely us and Boston will be better than both these teams. But who's your more interesting team for whatever reason, Philly or Brooklyn?
I agree. It's got to be Brooklyn, but I think a lot of it, their players are one thing, and what they went through last year, and the addition of Kyrie and KD, who are like really otherworldly good players, basketball-wise. I wonder. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how those guys mesh, because if you look at kind of how they both play, just as players, their skill sets complement each other very well. They both can handle the ball well and both shoot, but they're both a little odd when it comes to how they want to do things, and none of them have individually been the leader of a championship team. So for them to get together and try to do it, it's going to be interesting. And the most interesting thing, though, with the Nets is Nash.
Totally. I know. Steve Nash. It's his first head coaching job.
He could really – I mean, there are really the three scenarios. They kind of do okay. They burn out early in the playoffs. They do horribly, which I really doubt. Or they do really well. And, could they do really well? Could they actually do really, really well? And Nash is coach of the year, and they have an 800 winning percentage. I don't know. Maybe. I think a lot of it depends on whether or not Kyrie and KD decide to be the team members and teammates that they need to be in order to win as a team. And they need to put their egos aside for sure. They're both incredibly talented, and that team can be deep. And if they're coached properly and if they respect Nash, they can actually be dangerous. Also depends on KD because it's a serious injury, right? And he's 30-something, and his Achilles tendon is like it's like you put it beside Young Street, it's just a little bit shorter than Young Street, right? It's so long. Imagine having to fix that thing as a doctor. You'd be like, I'm charging double. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure the doctor charged double for sure.
I hope so. But also on the other side, Embiid is weird too. I hope Embiid stays healthy because God love him. He's been sunned enough in the NBA for him to have my respect to go out and do something. Start big dogging people. You know what I mean? Average 25 and 12 and stay healthy. That'd be cool to see. Good for him. You know what I mean? The Raptors are going to be better than them. We don't need to worry about them, I don't think.
I agree.
I hope.
And I also agree on the policy of the doctor basically just seeing a ligament or based on the person, charging double, whichever, if doctors want to roll like that, I watched one episode of that show, The Nick, and the way doctors were doing stuff in the early 1900s, it was wild. They barely washed their hands. But let's I think wrap this pod up with some quickish questions. We got some hot ones for you. I think it's gonna be an entertaining one. What do you feel? What do you feel about that, guys? You want to do some quickish questions? Or
Love
what?
it. Yeah.
Love it. Let's get it.
I don't know. I keep doing these like rally calls. Like, what do you think, guys? Are we gonna go tobogganing this winter?
I love it because, like, we're gonna be like, nah, dog, chill.
Yeah, you
I
guys
thought
just
this
peace
was
out.
the section for
Give
artisanal
me those
cheeses,
small
Freddie.
statements instead of those quickish questions.
Yeah,
I had
I
several questions lined up in regards to artisanal cheese.
listen. I keep
And-
teasing out sophisticated sections, and it's just I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna go down. You know, next pod, I'll just like whoever's the guest, no matter what, I'll just like jump to like everything will be like birding based. I'll be like, oh, what do you think about like the black crowned? You know what I mean?
Tit
Egret
wobbler?
or whatever. What's that?
Anyway,
Yeah, you know what? I let this slide way too long. Maddie, I know you're ready with that sting, so please give me that quickish questions. Goal. Thanks for listening to me have a stroke, everybody. I'm doing okay. I'm going to be all right. This is Quickish Questions. If you know it, you love it. I'm going to stumble through some questions. I'm going to misread them likely. I'm going to slur. I'm going to stutter. I'm going to forget what I'm talking about. But that's okay because these folks here, they have to answer these questions with aplomb and as quick as they can. They can't phone a friend. They can't delay. Every and every you know, it's just not okay.
Lots of points.
Yeah, you know, I'm keeping points, and when I unveil the points, people are gonna be very upset. Let's go. Let's go. Yaw, Ian, Matt. Everybody good?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Yaw.
Word.
What animal would be the best at basketball?
The puma.
The
Boom.
puma.
The puma.
I like it.
Stealthy. It is. It's this like people don't know about its speed and agility, and it just gets you. Gets you that first step every time.
Just slices the ball right away.
Not just about the first step; it's also about the deceleration. That pull-up J's. The puma.
Ian.
Good question.
What name?
Good answer. Mm-hmm.
What name should Kyle give to his new Ferrari?
All junk, no trunk.
Whoa.
That's a home run. Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, people put it, so I'm going to ask it. Should we get rid of TD?
Yes.
Yaw. Will Kyle ever leave or retire? Or sorry, will Kyle ever leave or will he retire a Raptor?
Interesting. Sadly, I think he'll leave, but it won't be like on bad terms. I think it'll just be to make way for new generation, and he'll feel like he has a year or two left. Though I don't think he should leave. I think he should retire after.
Ian,
Mm-hmm.
is Fred worth keeping?
Yes, I think so. He's rock solid. He's steady. He can shoot the ball, and he's smart on the as a point guard. Does his job very well.
Hell yeah. Matt, I feel like this is lining up in a funny way for you.
Okay.
Next question is, should I burn my TD jersey?
Wow. Look that I'm the authority on this one.
I know.
Whatever you got to do. You know, I don't know. I don't like burning jerseys because the plastic smell makes me think I'm having a stroke.
A lot of stroke content here. This is good. Yaw. What do you think of the super teams of coaching staffs coming together?
I think they're only as good as their first assistant, not even the head, because a few of these scenarios, the head coach is a novelty hire, so that first assistant is like really what brings them together. So that's the scary thing about Brooklyn is they have D'Antoni, who's probably going to be their lead assistant, and pushing Jacques Vaughn down, who's already a strong coach. yeah, I think it's interesting. If players respected coaches more, it'd be great. But I don't think they respect coaches as much as they need to.
Ian, is the possible Christmas start a good idea?
Yeah, I want to say so as a fan, but if it happens and there's a bunch of injuries right away, the NBA is going to look really stupid, and they have a really strong players union, so they probably don't want to do that. I mean, everything is all weird still. It's going to be weird during Christmas. It would be nice, but I think realistically, if they just went another month or so, gave the players a bit more rest, it might make for better basketball, unfortunately.
Matt, so sorry. What do you do with TD? He's a talent, but his image is now bad for the team. And this is kind of sort of the conversation we were having, where we don't want to focus too much on his personal conflict. But do you think he's out of the NBA?
Oh, God. I mean,
You're the authority, so.
I'm the authority on this. Look, he's got to make a real big effort if he even has a chance, right? He's got to, and not just about being in the NBA. He's got to come out against, against domestic violence. Like he has to take a stand, and that's something. It's like, I don't want to go on too long, but there's a kid that was drafted in the NHL who it came out after that he was I saw tormenting a young black kid. Yeah. In school and seriously tormenting him.
Totally.
And, it's just like now that pick has been announced and he's been kind of he's done, I think. But it's like if even if it doesn't get you back to where you want it to be, as a human, he needs to come out and stand up on that side that he's that he's faltered on, like he needs to be against it and be a person to advocate against it. You know what I mean?
Damn right. And that is the best ever non-quickish answer. And it was appropriately non-quickish.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
Keep them coming. Keep those TD questions coming.
I hope you're done. Jeez. Yaw. Other than Michael Jordan, who is the best player to have ever won the dunk contest? Negative 200 points if you pick Fred Jones.
The best player to ever have won the dunk contest that isn't Michael Jordan is Kobe Bryant.
Yeah. Ian.
Yes.
Y'all seen Obama splash that tray? Question mark.
I did. I loved it. He's got good form, and he was wearing like dress pants, even though they're probably like really nice dress pants. He still hit the shot in dress pants with a shirt tucked in, and it was awesome. And they walked off, and he said, "That's what I do." Are you fucking kidding me? I've never done anything that cool in my life. Come on, man.
And then the camera panned, and you saw Biden, and Biden was like, "I don't do that, but that is what he does."
They should just shut the lights off. You know what I mean? Like it was awesome.
Okay, this last question is such a good one that I'm going to turn it into an all play. And for poor Matt, I'm going to let him answer it twice. So Matt, you get 2 passes on this question because it's a fun one to think about. Okay, so in connection to Obama hitting a silky 3.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
What Canadian politician could walk into a 3 so cleanly? Matt.
Wow. Okay. I don't even want to say the first thing that popped in my head because it's not true.
It's quickish questions. You got to give it to me.
Jesus, sorry. I feel like
wow, the first fun question rattled you, eh?
This dog.
Jagmeet?
Who?
Jagmeet Singh?
Oh yeah, that's a given. Matt, you got some more time for the next one coming around.
Jesus, really.
Yaw. What's a Canadian politician that could just like easily step into that 3 like Obama?
It is generally Jamie. I don't know why you hesitated so long. It's the only person that who legitimately could shoot that shot, hit that shot, and walk off as if he's the flyest person on earth. Like Trudeau can't do that. And
Well, what happened was Mike Harris popped into my head, and I was like, no. And then I thought about his sixth toe, and then I fucking got all thrown off.
Yeah, you know what? Mike Harris will always throw you off. Son of a bitch. Ian, who's Sing, obviously. Is there anyone else out there who could just like pop into a 3, no worries?
You know what? Listen, I'll say it would probably be Rob Ford, but in high school in Etobicoke, maybe only weighs 260 pounds at that point. You know, God love him. If he does it, this is what he does. He doesn't step into it as much as he.
Wait, I just got to say it out loud. No. Do you mean Doug?
No.
Or are you like Rob from the grave? Okay, sorry.
Specifically, Rob. Yeah, okay. Rest in peace, Robbie. I'm telling you right now, but here's how he does it. He throws it with one hand while he's got a beef patty in his mouth. That's how I picture it happening. So it's not exactly a splash 3. It's more of like it's chaotic scene. Like... And then he says something. He tries to say something in patois, and then he hits the crack.
Oh my god!
Then he pulls a crack pipe out of his blazer pocket.
He does all. He goes through all the hits.
Oh yeah. So it's not exactly as smooth necessarily as Obama, but it's certainly he splashed it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's pretty chaotic event. Sounds like.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Matt, okay, round 2. You get to answer. You get to answer again. Who's the Canadian politician who's going to walk into a 3?
I think it's going to be Pierre Trudeau.
Wow, another deceased person.
That would have been my number 2.
Pierre Trudeau. I like it. Okay, buddies. That's the pod. We made it to the end. This Quickish Questions was a good time. We all kind of hopefully passed the time together, not stressing out on this huge election day in the US.
It was really fun, Freddie. Thank you so much.
Oh man. Yeah, this is awesome. You guys are the best. I was gonna go to you first. Like, weird times for all of us comedians here. But are you doing anything? What's going on? If you're not doing anything,
okay. I still do. I'd like to do my Instagram stories there. I'm on Instagram, shirt_Gordon, if anybody wants to follow me. And then I got a show actually in Kitchener, Ontario, with Hunter Collins on November 27th, and I'm super excited about that. I'm pumped to hang out with Hunter. If anybody knows Hunter, he's a great guy, funny comedian, person. And an awesome dude. And I'm excited to do stand-up. It's been a while. Things are weird, like you said. But you know what? When it comes back, the audiences are going to be eaten out of their hands, aren't they, Freddie?
Oh, yeah. They're just going to be going wild.
I got some new, kind of prop comic bits I've been working on. I got a straw hat. I got,
nice.
Yeah. I'm okay. It's all right, man.
A little prop com.
Yeah, we're hanging in there, man. The straw hat will be big in Kingston.
You wait, buddy. You wait and see.
Folks in Cornwall will hear about it.
You know what? They'll hit all the way to Cornwall. They'll hear about it, and I'll be going door to door selling compact discs. That's what I'll be doing.
Okay, cool. Yaw, I don't know if you're in the disc game, mini discs, perhaps. What's up with you? Are you doing any shows in Kingston? What's going on?
You know what? I'm active on my Instagram. YAW Experience, Yaw Experience, where I'm putting up a daily song that goes with a theme, which is really nice. And I'm working on a few things to actually come out because I would love to perform stand-up comedy, but I just haven't found the right venue. I'm not a Zoom comic. I'm not. No offense to anybody who is. I just need to. I need to see my audience. I need to reach out and attempt to touch them with full back because I don't do that. But yeah, working on something, so hopefully I can announce that pretty soon. But follow me on Instagram because I'll also tell people what I'm doing there.
check this dude out. And I was searching for his name the whole time that Ian was talking about. I was like, Kingston Comedy. He probably doesn't listen to this pod, but shout out to my guy, Ryan Denis. He lives in Kingston.
Oh, yeah.
He's hilarious. Oh my God, one of the funniest people. If you're in Kingston, make sure you check out whatever he's producing and see his shows, because I see he's still doing a lot of stuff. But anyways, that's it for the pod. Thanks everyone for listening. Share, subscribe. Make sure to hey, take advantage of that manscaping deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah,
right?
20% off. Dunks
20%
Pod.
off, baby.
Code is Dunks Pod.
I'm wearing the shirt. It's huge, but I'm going to fill it out because I'm getting jacked. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Maddie, if you feel like we're good to go, please just say okay.
Okay.